You just handed me to a business. Maybe it was a coffee shop, maybe an online store, maybe a big box retailer where the cashier didn't even make eye contact. You got your thing, they got me. Transaction complete. End of story, right? Wrong. From your side of the counter, the journey ends when I leave your hand. You think, I paid, they received. Done. From my side of the counter, the journey hasn't even started. Because here's what you don't see. When you hand me to a business, I don't go to a person. I don't go to a pocket. I don't even really go to the business. I enter a system, a maze, a gauntlet, and before I can become anyone's salary, bonus, or dream, before I can actually pay for anything real, I have to survive a journey that most humans don't even know exists. You think you understand where your money goes when you spend it. You have no idea. I'm money. I spend my entire life moving through people's hands, wallets, and bank accounts, and I see the same financial mistakes over and over again. But this isn't about your mistakes. This is about something you've never been shown, the hidden journey, the pipeline between you spent me and someone earned me. Most people think that pipeline is a straight line. It's not. It's a labyrinth. And understanding that labyrinth is the difference between building wealth your whole life and wondering why the people who own the labyrinth always seem to have more of me than you do. If you're someone who's ever worked for a business, owned a business, or just wondered why the economy feels like it's rigged, make sure to hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up, because I'm about to take you inside the machine. Here's what most people don't realize. When you pay a business, you think you're paying the owner, or the employees, or maybe the shareholders. You're not. You're paying the business. And a business is not a person. A business is a legal entity, a fictional character that the law treats like a person, but operates like a fortress. And before anyone inside that fortress can touch me, I have to pass through 7 gates, 7 layers of claims on my existence, each one senior to the last. From your wallet to someone's pocket is not a journey of feet or miles. It's a journey of priority. And I'm about to show you exactly who gets to touch me first, who gets whatever's left, and why most business owners work 80 hours a week and still feel like they're drowning. Let's start with the most dangerous word in business: revenue. You just bought something for $100. The business just recorded $100 in revenue. The owner looks at that number and thinks, I just made $100. No, you just gave the business $100. The business did not make $100. It received $100. And between receiving and making, there is a vast, hungry ecosystem. From my side of the ledger, this is where I see the most heartbreak. I watch entrepreneurs celebrate $100,000 months, then cry 6 months later when they can't make payroll. They thought revenue was theirs. It never was. Revenue is not income. Revenue is visitors at the gate. Income is what survives the gauntlet. The cost of goods sold. The first claim on me comes from whoever made the thing you just bought. You bought a candle for $30. That candle required wax, a wick, a jar, a label, and someone to assemble it. The supplier wants their share. That's cost of goods sold, COGS. If the candle cost $10 to make, the business now has $20 left, not $30. Already, a third of me has been claimed by someone who never met you, never smiled at you, never thanked you for your business. Here's what most people don't realize. This claim is senior to everything. Before rent, before payroll, before the owner eats, the supplier gets paid first. Always. gross profit, and the illusion of room. What's left after COGS has a name: gross profit. $20 from our candle. And gross profit is where the psychological traps snap shut. Because $20 feels like room to breathe. It feels like profit. It's not. It's just space. Space that's about to be invaded by every other claim waiting in line. I've seen this happen thousands of times. An owner looks at gross profit and starts mentally spending new equipment, a vacation, a bonus. They've already forgotten that I haven't even reached the second gate yet. Now I enter operating expenses, OPEX. This is where I get consumed by things that don't directly make the product, but make the business exist. Rent, utilities, insurance, software subscriptions, the coffee in the break room, the toilet paper in the bathroom, the website hosting, the payment processor fee that took another 2.9% of me just for the privilege of being accepted. From our $100 sale, we're already down to $20 gross profit. Now subtract rent, $5, software, $2, insurance, $1, payment processing, 87 cents. That's $8.87 gone. $11.13 remains. We haven't paid a single employee yet. We haven't paid the owner. We haven't set aside taxes. We're at $11.13 from a $100 sale. Now, you might be thinking, that seems extreme. Not every business has that much overhead. Fair. But here's the thing about operating expenses. They're fixed. They don't care if you had a good month or a bad month. Rent is due whether you sold 1 candle or 10,000. The software subscription renews whether you used it or forgot it existed. I call these the silent leeches. They don't announce themselves. They just drain. This is where it gets really interesting. Most business owners know about COGS and OPEX. They've heard the terms, but they don't feel them. They feel the $100 sale. They don't feel the $88.87 that evaporates before they ever touch it. Now we come to the third gate that breaks owners' hearts: employees. From our $11.13, we need to pay the person who sold the candle, the person who packed it, the person who answered the email when the customer had a question. Payroll is weird. It's not a legal claim like COGS or rent. If the business truly can't pay, employees can't just take inventory to cover their wages. But psychologically, emotionally, payroll is the most sacred debt a business has. I've watched owners skip their own salary for 6 months to make payroll. I've watched them put rent on credit cards so their team gets paid on time. I've never watched an owner skip payroll to buy themselves something nice. It doesn't happen. So, from our $11.13, subtract sales associate commission, $2, hourly wages allocated to this sale, $3, payroll taxes, $0.75. $5.38 remains. And this is where the owner gets to make a choice. And this is where most owners make the wrong one. Now we come to the fourth gate, taxes, the inescapable. I need to tell you something about taxes that no one teaches in school. When you see a business owner post a photo of a $100,000 month on Instagram, they're not showing you the $30,000 they're about to send to the government. They're not showing you the $20,000 they need to set aside for the estimated quarterly payment. They're showing you the gross. They're showing you the visitors at the gate. From my side of the wallet, taxes are not an expense. They're a partition, a wall that separates money that exists from money that's already spoken for. From our $5.38, we need to set aside income tax, $1.08. 20%, self-employment tax, $0.54, 10%. $3.76 remains. This isn't even the government taking its share yet. This is just setting it aside so it doesn't get spent on something else. Here's what most people don't realize about business taxes. Employees never feel the pain of withholding. It happens before they ever see their paycheck. Out of sight, out of mind. Business owners, they get the full check, all $100. They see it in their account. It feels like theirs. Then, 3 months later, the government asks for its cut, and the owner has already spent it. I've seen this happen thousands of times. An owner receives a big payment. They pay suppliers, they pay employees, they pay themselves a little bonus. They feel successful. Then the quarterly estimated tax payment comes due, and they realize they're $15,000 short. This isn't malice. This isn't irresponsibility. It's visibility bias. Money you can see feels like money you can use. It's not. Part 5. The fifth gate, debt service, the silent senior, the bank's claim. Now we come to a claim that sits quietly in the background, never demanding attention until suddenly it demands everything. Debt service. Most businesses don't start with the owner's savings. They start with a loan, a line of credit, a friend's investment, an SBA note, and every single month, regardless of how the business performed, that debt demands its payment. Here's the hierarchy that most owners don't understand. Debt sits above owners, always. If a business has $1 left at the end of the month and a $1 loan payment due, the loan gets paid. The owner gets nothing. The bank doesn't care if the owner worked 80 hours. The bank doesn't care if the owner skipped lunch. The bank cares about its $1. From our $3.76, subtract debt service allocated to this sale, $1.50. $2.26 remains. Part 6. The sixth gate, capital expenditures, the future's demand. The replacement tax. Here's a claim that doesn't come due today, it comes due tomorrow, but if you ignore it today, tomorrow will break you. Capital expenditures, CapEx. The computer your employee uses will die in 3 years. The oven in the bakery will need replacing. The delivery van will hit 200,000 miles. These aren't optional expenses, they're deferred expenses. And deferred doesn't mean avoided, it means delayed until it hurts more. Smart businesses set aside money for CapEx every month, not because they need it today, because they know they'll need it desperately in the future, and future them won't have time to raise it. From our $3.76, subtract CapEx reserve, 50 cents. $1.76 remains. The depreciation illusion. Accountants call this depreciation. They spread the cost of a $3,000 computer over 3 years, pretending the business only spent $1,000 each year. But the truth is, the computer doesn't care about your accounting. It will die on its own schedule. And when it dies, you need $3,000 in cash, not $1,000, not an amortization schedule, cash. I've watched businesses report $100,000 in profit on paper while their bank account shrinks. They forgot that profit is an opinion, cash is a fact. And now, finally, I arrive at the last claim on my existence. The owner. From a $100 sale through 6 gates, 6 layers of priority, $1.76 remains. This is what the owner gets. This is their profit, their reward, their reason for doing all of this in the first place. $1.76. Not $100, not $50, not $20, $1.76. Now you understand why I see so many business owners cry in their cars. Not because they're ungrateful, not because they're bad at math, because they did the math and realized that $100,000 months don't make them rich. $100,000 months make them survive, and survival, when you're working 80 hours, feels a lot like failure. From my side of the register, this is the cruelest trick of all. Society tells entrepreneurs they're chasing freedom. They're actually chasing residual claim. They are fighting to be the last one fed from a feast they prepared, and most of them never get fed at all. Now for the exceptions, when money moves differently. Cash businesses. Now, you might be thinking, what about cash businesses? What about businesses that don't report everything? I'm money. I don't judge, but I do observe. Cash businesses, restaurants, salons, contractors, food trucks have a different journey. Some of me never enters the system at all. I go from customer to owner without ever meeting COGS, OPEX, or taxes. I'm invisible. I'm also limited. Cash-only businesses cap themselves. They can't scale because they can't take cards. They can't get loans because they can't show profit. They can't sell because they can't prove revenue. The me that travels invisibly is the me that can never multiply. On the other end of the spectrum, software, digital products, information businesses. Their COGS is near zero. No physical inventory, no warehouse, no shipping. When you pay $100 for software subscription, $90 of me might survive to the bottom of the gauntlet, not $1.76. This is not coincidence. This is design. The businesses that understand my journey build themselves to minimize the claims against me. They don't eliminate the gates, but they make each gate take less. Here are the lessons I've learned from watching millions of me pass through millions of businesses. Lesson 1. Stop worshiping revenue. Revenue is not success. Revenue is not wealth. Revenue is just the beginning of a long, brutal obstacle course. The businesses that brag about top-line numbers are either ignorant or lying. The businesses that brag about what survives are the ones who understand. Action. If you own a business, track your survival rate. What percentage of every dollar remains after all 7 gates? If it's less than 5%, you don't have a profit problem, you have a structure problem. Lesson 2. Profit is a choice. Profit isn't what's left. Profit is what you protect. Every gate in this journey represents something that wants to consume me. Suppliers want more. Landlords want more. Employees want more. The government wants more. The bank wants more. Even your future self, through CapEx, wants more. If you don't actively defend profit, it will be consumed by whichever claimant is loudest. And the loudest claimant is never the owner. It's always the one with the most urgent voice. Action. Pay yourself first, not last. I don't mean recklessly. I mean treat your profit as a non-negotiable expense, exactly like rent and payroll. If the business can't pay you, the business is not viable. It's a hobby with extra steps. Lesson 3. Understand the hierarchy. The hierarchy is real. Work with it, not against it. You cannot make supplier claims junior to owner profit. You cannot make tax claims junior to your vacation fund. The hierarchy is not a suggestion. It's the law, the contract, and the physics of commerce. But you can design your business to have fewer claims. You can reduce COGS through better sourcing. You can reduce OPEX through technology. You can reduce debt through patience. You can reduce taxes through strategy. Action. Audit your own 7 gates. Where are you leaking? Which claim is consuming more than it should? That's where your attention goes. Here's what I need you to understand. I am not evil. I am not magical. I am not a reward for virtue or a punishment for failure. I am simply reactive. I respond to the systems you put me in. When you hand me to a business, I don't know if that business is worthy of me. I don't know if the owner is virtuous, the employees are happy, or the product is good. I just know the gates. I know the hierarchy. I know who gets to claim me first, second, and last. And most businesses, most owners, never design those gates intentionally. They inherit them. They accept them. They assume this is just how commerce works. It's not. This is how commerce works when you don't design it. When you design it intentionally, the gates don't disappear, but they narrow. The claims don't vanish, but they shrink. And more of me survives to reach the one who took all the risk, did all the work, and believed enough to start. I've passed through the hands of bakers and baristas, plumbers and programmers, influencers and inventors. I've seen the ones who understand my journey and the ones who don't. The ones who don't chase revenue. They celebrate $100,000 months and wonder why they can't afford a vacation. The ones who do understand build different businesses. They build businesses where $1 of me survives a $0.5, not $0.02. They build businesses that don't just generate revenue, they retain value. They build businesses that can be sold, scaled, and eventually exited. You don't have to choose between being an employee and being a business owner who works twice as hard for half the certainty. You just have to understand the journey and then design for it. If you want me, money, to explain more of the hidden journeys, subscribe, hit the bell, because I remember. I remember every business that treated me like revenue and every business that treated me like survival. I remember the owners who celebrated my arrival and the owners who mourned my departure. I remember the ones who understood that my journey doesn't end at the register. It starts there. You think you know where your money goes when you spend it. Now you know you don't. But here's the good news. You don't need to know where every dollar goes. You just need to know where your dollars go. Your business, your paycheck, your future. The 7 gates exist in every business, but you only have to master one of them. Yours.